I am DYANAROZAY, and I bring a unique commentary to your favorite reality TV shows and whatever is popping on social media. If you are not a subscriber, please become one. Hit that notification bell too, that way you don't miss any of my videos. I go by DYANAROZAY on all platforms, and I appreciate every single one of y'all for rocking with me. What's up, Supreme Team, and welcome to the channel. Come on in, everybody. Nice to have you. We are talking about a review today, Heart and Hustle Houston, Season 1, Episode 4, okay? If you guys can hear the sound of my voice, let me know. Put your city, your state, your country, your island, your continent, wherever you are from, into the chat. That way we can get it started, child. Thank y'all for rocking with DYANAROZAY. Also, I need you to hit that like button, share the video, hit the like button, share the video. Please and thank you. Become a subscriber if you are not already. Okay, come on in. Welcome, welcome. What's up? Patricia from Cleveland. Y'all know I was born over there in the Cleveland area, okay? So come on in, come on in, come on in. We got a lot to talk about. Hola, 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 hola. Look, Connecticut is in the house. This was a good episode, y'all. I actually liked this episode. It was good. It was good. Now, Ro has been coming over and watching my reviews. Ro from the show. So what's up to you, Ro? First, let me say that. Last time I did the review last week, I said, I don't know how many episodes they have. She let me know that they have 8. So we got 4 episodes left. Okay. But welcome to the chat, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Don't forget, bump up the thumbs up, hit that like button, share the video, all the things, all the things. Okay, let me put myself on camera. Let me put myself on camera. What up, yo? Nice to have y'all. We're here to talk about the show. The episode was good. Y'all saw the thumbnail, right? I showed you the thumbnail. Jordan is over there getting a crunk, child. She had asked him a question and he said, how long is that sun going to be in the basement? It was a lot, but we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. So come on in. Hi, Felicia. Nice to have you. Yeah, he clearly there's an issue. I don't know. We've been talking about Kimmy over on LAMH, and people are like, how could you? And I said, this is going to be interesting. I'd love to see how this plays out because this happens in real life all the time. But yeah, it looks like Miss Chloe from Heart and Hustle is going to share some things. Now, she has an adult son, but she's going to share some things that can give us some insight. I love that. So come on in, everybody. Hopefully y'all have been watching this show. The ladies over there at Heart and Hustle in Houston. Did y'all notice that I have Houston as my background? Look, I got the little Houston skyline. But yeah, the ladies over there in Houston, they are really putting out some information for us. Chloe in particular is, I think she's probably going to become the fan favorite. But I like the show. I think it's a very good show. So let's get into it. Hopefully you guys will catch on before they take it off the air. Y'all know they only give you so much time to make it a hit. And so I think that's why we've been getting a lot of visits. The bloggers that are doing the reviews, they're getting a lot of visits from the castmates to keep it going. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, it actually starts off with Chloe and Jordan. So if you don't know, Jordan is Chloe's boyfriend. And so she's given us a little more insight on him. She takes her beau, her boyfriend, Jordan, to an indoor baseball, like a batting range kind of thing. It's kind of like a Top Golf, except for baseball. It was kind of cute. Hi, Gloria. Nice to have you, friend. Jordan was passionate and wrong when it came to her son. Let's talk about it. Okay. So anyway, she said, I'm taking my boyfriend to the batting range, something fun because he's younger than me. He's younger, and I guess she wants to show him a good time. Now, she said he's about 17 years younger. Who knows? Maybe a little more. I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, it was cute, that little part. She couldn't hit the ball for shit. Okay. So he had to come up behind her, spoon her a little bit, show her how things are done. It was cute. And then they end up sitting down to have a hamburger and have a little serious conversation, which went completely left. Completely. Okay. Can y'all see me okay? I don't know if I'm being drowned out. Hold on. So anyway, she sits down and she just starts off. She said, listen, a lot of people, this is what she's saying in confessional. She said that a lot of people are getting her relationship with Jordan wrong. Okay. They think that she's trying to get her groove back or whatever. But she said, that's not the case. I dated after my husband passed away, but Jordan is the person who most reminds me of the feelings I had when I was with my husband. So she said, listen, I have a connection with this man. She seems like she's serious about the commitment. And this is a far cry from what Toria told us in season one, in episode one, excuse me, in episode one, when she was talking to Chloe about it in Toria's confessional. She said, make no mistake, Houston is full of sugar babies looking for a sugar mama. Okay. If you are an older woman with a little change in your pocket, young men come out of everywhere to date you. So according to Chloe, she said, listen, I've dated other men. They didn't ring my bell the way Jordan rings my bell. Okay. So she says that in confessional. And then she tells Jordan at the table, so are you still gonna, want to be with me when I'm 60 and she couldn't do the math. So she said, and you're 40? Are you still gonna want to be with me? And he said, yeah, that'll be fine. She said, I'm not gonna be as pretty. I'm gonna be much older. I'm gonna have wrinkles in my face. Are you cool with that? He said, I'm gonna put your ass in the gym. Okay. Hold on. What are y'all saying? Oh, Jordan needs to mind his business. He said, I'm gonna put your ass in the gym. So you ain't got nothing to worry about. And the second he said it, I was like, oh my God, is this the right move? I don't know. I was offended for it because I was like, first off, you don't even have to say when you're 60, girlfriend, because look, I was like, you better talk to her before I hurt her feelings. You look like his mama right now. Okay. You have little wrinkles and shit right now. You ain't got to worry till you 60. You already there, baby. You still 20 something years older than him. You don't got to wait for the future. The future of nothing. And I'm not even trying to be mean. You are an attractive woman, but when it comes to him and y'all walking around, you look like you're that man's mama. Okay. Anyway, I didn't like his answer. After she says that, okay, she actually says, how do you feel about Nico, which is her son, if he's still living with me? Are you still going to feel the same way? And his energy changed in a heartbeat. His energy changed just like that. He went, how long do he plan on living there? How long do you want to keep him there? Okay. He's already mad. And that lets us know as an audience, red flag. You don't have to say anything more. You shouldn't even be encouraging this. You shouldn't have brought the conversation up. Nico lives in your house right now, and that's that. Make sure he stays out of your house because he doesn't like Nico. There's clearly some tension there. But he said, how long are you going to keep that man in your house? He's a grown-ass man. How long are you going to take care of him? Okay. She immediately starts crying as if she doesn't have two other babies that are young. Those little girls are young. I think they're twins. But I was like, don't you have children? Like, I'm unsure where you're going here. But he said, I don't know. Now you done put him in a bad mood. She gets upset and she says, this is my son, and you shouldn't even be bringing it up. You are not competing. This is not a competition for you. Then she said, Jordan is still grieving. Or excuse me, not Jordan. Then she said, Nico's still grieving. When his dad died, which would have been a stepfather, when his dad died, he was all I had. He stepped in. He filled in the gap. He's still taking care of some of the things her late husband took care of right now, including taking care of her daughters when she's not there. This is what she's telling him as a reason why. And he looks at her and said, listen, I didn't want all this. And frankly, I'm done eating. So he wants to kill the scene. I'm done eating. So let's go. We can't have this conversation. So anyway, Chloe, Lord have mercy, Jesus. If you want to get your groove back, fine. But you're going to have to put a whole lot of extra thought into having this person fill in like he's a father figure, because he's not a father figure to your son. Clearly, according to your son, they're only 4 years apart. So that's never going to happen, right? Right? Hey, Lawana, welcome, welcome, welcome. That's never going to happen. And also, just from what I'm seeing, yeah, I'm sure that he's probably giving you some get right later. However, he's not Ving Rhames. What was Ving Rhames' name in Baby Boy? Melvin. He's nobody's Melvin, okay? He's nobody's Melvin. You're not going to trade out your son for Jordan. It doesn't add up, okay? Let's be clear. Let's be real. Jordan won't be around in 5 years. Never mind 20. You are accurate. And that's why I said, if you're keeping him around to get your groove back, do that. Do that. But you're getting your mind cloudy, Chloe, thinking that he's going to be around for the long haul. And you are messing up your relationships with your actual family. It's your son today. It will be your daughters tomorrow. He's going to compete with all of them because he's damn near the same age. Cut it out. Okay? That's my opinion. But right now, Chloe's crying, snot coming out of her nose, drying her eyes. And Jordan ends the scene. He said, I'm done. I'm done. Okay? I'm finished eating. Goodbye. So we shall see what happens next. But that's how it ended, y'all. I don't know. I didn't like that scene at all. And according to what we heard in 2 episodes ago, when Brina had pulled him aside and said, what do you have in store for my friend? That was the last episode. What do you have in store for my friend? She wants more children. Okay. Are you taking this seriously? Because her time, you know what I'm saying, is precious. You, on the other hand, you can make babies until you're dead. Okay. So what do you have going on? Make a move. And even then, he sounded like he didn't want to do it. So I don't know I don't know if she's just asking to ask, but Chloe is unveiling a lot of insecurities about herself. So we'll see what happens next, okay? Anyway, next up, we got Toria. Toria calls her counselor, Miss Sylvia, her therapist, because she felt a way about how things went down at the crawfish event with Muneera. She actually said that when she was a kid, she was seen as the bully. People always misunderstood her because of her size and her complexion. People were always coming after her or making it seem like she did something she didn't do. That's how she felt about it, that she didn't do. But she said after that little interaction with Muneera, she feels a way and she wants to get things settled. So she explains everything to her therapist, who said, listen, you don't know what type of trigger you might have instilled in Muneera. You might want to, pull back a little bit and look at things from her point of view. If she doesn't like to be called cutesy, she doesn't like to be called cutesy. That's it, okay? In the same way you have feelings about how you grew up. Toria said, well, I never thought about it that way. Thanks her therapist. And then in confessional, she said, I'm still going to be keeping both of my eyes on Muneera because she gives me a vibe and I don't know. I just need to We need to work this shit out. But in the meantime, she invites Miss Sylvia to a brunch that she calls Feels and Heals. She said, I would like for you to sit with all of us as a friend group and give us, some advice on how we can get over these little hiccups and move forward in our relationship. So Sylvia agrees to do that. We'll check it out. Next up, we have Muneera. Muneera decides she's going to have lunch or dinner with her mother, Dyana, and her husband, Norman. Last episode, or the episode before last, Muneera said that her husband and her mama don't get along, and she wants them to. She says she can feel, the tension when she comes into the house. She's blaming herself. So she's bringing her mother and her husband together to see if she can mend fences between them. It was a very cute scene. It ended very well, had a little bow on it. Muneera actually blames everything on herself for saying, I wonder if, because I'm working all the time, if you two are, into it. And if so, do I need to pull back? Norman says, listen, I have what you ladies call resting bitch face. Every time I pass your mama, it ain't about her. Okay. It doesn't have to be about her. I'm not trying to give her the stank eye or a bad attitude. That's just how my face looked. Her mother said, for 10 years, you've had resting bitch face. He's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, child, I don't know what to tell you. You should be used to it by now, but I don't feel any type of way. And then Muneera's mother, Dyana, said, whatever you do, child, don't quit working. Your job is to take care of these kids, take care of this home. Both of you really taking care of the home. Don't quit any type of job or pull back from me. I'm fine. Now, if you want to break me off a little bit of change for taking care of the kids, do that. But outside of that, I'm cool. I don't care about your husband's bitch face, resting bitch face. I'm good. But Muneera said, more than anything, I just want y'all to get along. They both assure her that they are fine. Dyana, the mama, said, if I had to choose a husband for you, I would have chose Norm. So I don't want you to think that I'm upset with you or him. Norm says the same thing. I'm happy that you're here, that you're helping us take care of our children. We love you. We wouldn't want you to be anyplace else. That's how the scene ends. So it doesn't look like there's going to be any drama with them. Okay. Moving on to the next scene, which was Brina. Now, Brina got a little stuff going on. We'll see. I was interested in seeing what Brina was going to bring to the table. You like how the scene ended with her husband and her mother. Yeah, the thing is, there's no storyline. So there has to be, anytime you write a book, they tell you this. You have to have a conflict that you can follow. That way, it makes people interested in it. But if you're wrapping everything up in a nice bow, it's not going to make things, people aren't going to be interested in your story. That's the only thing. I was hoping that Dyana, like her mother, would give us a little extra, you know what I'm saying? But not right now, child. So it looks like all of her worries are gone. She's getting everything resolved. Brina, on the other hand, Brina is finally introducing us to some of her conflict. And she pulls up, at the ranch. She got that big, beautiful ranch out there in Houston. She pulls up at the ranch. Her football playing husband, William, he got his personal barber in there cutting his hair. And she looks exhausted when she comes in. She looks like she had, somebody's been giving her the blues, and it happens to be her damn kids. So when she comes in, the barber's like, what's up, Miss Brina? Like, you okay? And she's like, nah, child, these kids are giving me the blues. I don't know if I'm coming or going. Her husband's like, what's going on? What happened? And she lets us know that she has two kids. She has a 3-year-old daughter by the name of Winter that she has with her current husband. And then she has a son, 15-year-old, who she calls Pop. And she said, Pop right now doesn't understand that he needs to get his shit together. And that baby's father, her son's father, he's not helping. He's not helping her in raising him. She said, it sounds like it may have been recent at that it sounds like recently the father was given or they've decided to split custody, whereas before he was living with her most of the time. But now he's dividing his time between his mother's house and his father's house. And she said because of it, she can tell that the other parent is way too lenient with Pop. He's too lenient. He gets to go out, do whatever he wants to do, and his grades are suffering. And she said, I don't know if this is doable. Like, I just left the school is complaining, and it sounds like maybe her and the baby's father isn't on the same page, and that there might have some, conflict with getting there. William, her husband, says, listen, this is to be expected, and we just got to let the ground rules. We got to let them be known. It sounds like Brina's been doing that, but Pop is living his own best life. So he's not there yet. Either way, she said that he's at an age where he needs to get his shit together. He needs to get it together so that he can, have a good future. And he's not doing that right now. So we'll see. But that appears to be one of the conflicts she's going to have, that she's going to bring to the screen. I actually like this storyline. I want to see people co-parent. I want to see people, if you guys are on different, you parent differently. How do y'all fix that? How do you resolve it? Plus, your son is 15. He's up there and he looks bigger than her. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard to parent a child that's as big as you sometimes. I've watched some of my friends try to, give a little punishment to the kids that's bigger than her. That shit don't work out. Okay. But it was a good scene. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that storyline plays out. All right. Next up, we have Chloe. All right. So Chloe is at home with her son. Okay. She listened to what Jordan had to say about her, stop babying him, push him outside, make him go to work, give him a deadline on when he needs to move out the basement. What's going on? You can't take care of that man for his entire life. Well, Chloe's at home right now, and she said, listen, I heard everything that y'all had to say. I heard everything that y'all had to say, or excuse me, that Jordan had to say, and I agree with them. Sometimes the truth hurts. So Chloe's already letting us know she's on her man's side. She's on her man's side, which is interesting because she's going to change things up in a couple of scenes. So I'm just going to tell y'all that right now. But she said, I got to talk to him. And I don't know how he feels about Jordan. I don't know how Nico feels about my boyfriend, but I got to talk to him because he's not talking to me. And, the shit got to end at this point. This was a scene right out of Baby Boy. Her son was disrespectful. This was a scene right out of Baby Boy. I kid you not. Okay. I said Baby Boy earlier and said, Jordan is nobody's Melvin. Okay. But child, Nico might be Jody. And that's straight up. Anyway, Nico comes up from the basement and Chloe said, hey son, nice to see you. Nice. You want to talk? Haven't seen you in a minute. We haven't communicated. And Nico said, that's because you've been dating that dude. Okay. And I'm paraphrasing. I'm not fooling with you if you fooling with him. Chloe said, what does me dating anybody but him have to do with you? It shouldn't have anything to do with you. Nico said, it's weird. Ask anybody. It's weird. He's 4 years older than me. He's weird. You're weird. This is all the shit he was saying to her. Now, the whole time, Chloe is just like, oh my God. Like part of it was like she was embarrassed that this was happening on TV. But then at some point, she just kind of said, fuck it. I just got to get it out. So Chloe said, Jordan is my business. And you don't have to be a part of it. And he said, I'm not. And she said, it doesn't even matter that I'm weird either, because what I was when I was your age was gainfully employed. How about that? Okay. So now she jumps on him and she said, When I was your age, I had my own place. I was taking care of you. I was doing this. And before she could finish the words, he said, you didn't have your own place. You were at grandma's house. Okay. You lived with your mom. We lived there. And you didn't pay no bills there. Grandma paid the bills. I said, bitch, I know you lying. Any young son or any young son or old would feel that way. Okay, so you're saying that it doesn't matter if the son is gonna feel that way about his mama, because it is what it is. I get it. But I was like, oh shit, that's exactly what Jody said to his mama. This grandma's house. This ain't your house. Now, grandma been, buried and everything. They done had the funeral child. She pays the taxes on the house. Might even have a second mortgage on the mofo. But once you start telling your mama stuff like that, then maybe it is time for you to move on. I don't know. I'm just saying, they say when a child can tell you to change his diaper, he should know how to go to the potty. And when you start telling your mama who else pays the bills, it's time for you to start paying your bills. That's what my mama told me. Don't tell me what's in my damn pockets ever, okay? But he says this to his mom, and it did come across very disrespectful. And Chloe was very upset. You could tell she was shocked. She said, I can't believe he's saying this to me when he knows how hard it was for me. He watched, he was there. So for him to basically belittle what I was going through, trying to, take care of him. And yes, I may have been living with my mother, but I was still trying to make a way. After he said that, she was like, it is what it is. Hold on, child. Let me get y'all comments. Yes, son was disrespectful, but it appears that she has allowed it. Possible she shared too much of her business with her son and relied on him too much to be the man of the house. That's true. You ain't lying. She has 2 girls. I can understand how he feels about this relationship. Okay, so Lanicia is coming from a completely different angle, and I appreciate that. She said at the end of the day, I'm assuming you're talking about Nico. Nico, who I did say in episode 1 or 2, I said, you done made your son the man of the house. He's taking care of those girls when you're not there. He feels responsible, not only to the girls, but to you, Chloe. He thinks that it is his job to kind of guide you, and he feels a way about Jordan. And instead of you asking him, what is it with Jordan? Because I would think that maybe that could be a possibility. Maybe he knows something about Jordan that you don't know. And he doesn't like that you're taking it as seriously as you're taking it. But that's what he says. Okay. Come on in, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hit the like button on your way in. Okay. Hold on. Y'all getting activated now. I got to keep up with these comments. Overcomer said, no child is going to approve of a parent dating who is their age. That's true. Okay. Chronic said, that's absolutely right. Thank you, Mr. Chronic, for coming through. By the way, he is a wrench holder, so make sure y'all say hello to him because he wants to make sure y'all have a good time in the chat. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. But yeah, so there is a lot to unpack, which is why I like this storyline, because it's going to give us a lot of insight on things. I'm seeing it both ways, but I do feel like you made that child the man of the house, and he's downstairs in the basement, you know what I'm saying, waking up in the middle of the night, eating a big piece of chicken, all the things. So he feels, this is my house. This is my house. I pay you know what I'm saying? I might not pay bills here, but I definitely you've given me responsibilities. And now it seems like you're trying to pass those responsibilities off to this boyfriend that he doesn't like. But she says, that's not true. She was like, that's not true. And you know it's not true. I definitely had a job. I definitely was hustling. I was definitely out there making it. Nico looked at her like, bitch, that's cap. And I don't even want to say it like that because that's his mama. But he did say, oh, okay. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. I'm leaving, because he's saying to her, essentially, you lying. You're lying. And he's calling her out on it. Then she said, Nico, you got to get a job. When was the last time you went to the studio? What do you want to do with your life? He said, you know what I want to do. You know what I want to do. You know what I do. I'm a rapper. She said, when's the last time you've been to the studio? A few weeks ago. She said, I don't know what you do. I don't know what you do. I don't know how you spend your day. When you're here watching the kids, that's one thing. When you walk out this door, I don't see you until the next day, maybe a couple of weeks from now. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? But you got to get a job. You got to find a plan B in case this rap thing doesn't work out. A J-O-B. That's the word of the day for you, Nico. Nico said, you're supposed to support me. You're not supporting me. She said, I am supporting you. He threw his hand up and then he went back down into the basement. Not out the door, but down into the basement. So that conversation went to complete shit. Complete, okay? Honestly, their argument reminded you of who? Tell me. Oh, reminded me of a man and a woman in a relationship. I've seen parents and children fight like this before, in particular the boys, because mothers who make boys their partner, the man of the house, without setting expectations for when to leave the house, this is what happens. My mother set expectations for when we should leave the house. It was always said, you know what I'm saying? You're going to school, you're leaving, you know what I'm saying? You got to have something, a plan B. Where does this take place? I was 18. I actually moved to Texas when I was 18. I went to live with an auntie in Texas to go to school. So yes, it happens. You know what I'm saying? But you got to have expectations. That's what I believe. If he's not paying the bills, she's supporting him. Correct. Correct. But yeah, actually she said, you don't believe in me. My bad. He said, you don't believe in me. You don't believe in me, which was kind of like a gut punch to her. Like, you know, I should be able to say whatever I want to do because you don't believe in me. But that's what he says to her. You don't believe me in me. And then he goes downstairs because she only referenced that since her boyfriend wants him out. And that's true. When she starts the scene, she actually says, my last meeting with Jordan, I was crying because he told me that I need to push Nico out the house. Otherwise, it doesn't sound like their relationship can go any further. So it sounds like he's kind of maybe giving her an ultimatum, or maybe that's how she see it. You know what I'm saying? Because she is an older woman in a relationship with a younger man. We'll have to see. But this is a storyline that's playing out right now. Okay, look, we got some testimony involving Maricia. If I'm not saying your name right, I apologize. It's a pretty name. She said, my son is 21 in his last year of university. He told me that he will get an apartment after he graduates and stay in that area. It was bittersweet, but I'm glad he's not moving back in. It's important. It's important to give your kids expectations so they can leave the house. I was given expectations. Me and my sister had gotten an apartment. When I left Texas, me and my sister had gotten an apartment. Listen, there's things that you do to keep that shit going. And did my mom say we could never come back? No, we could come back if we needed to, but you just got to know when to push them out. But the reasons Chloe is given right now, I don't know if it should come from Jordan. Do you understand? Because he might not know the full dynamics. And even though she tried to tell him when they were sitting at dinner, he looked like he was bored. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care. Okay. She was like, it's hard out here for Black men. And he's still grieving too. And And he was just like this. Okay. You done ruined the night for me. So, Overcomer said, I don't agree with that because Jordan can come and go, but her son is forever. I understand. No one is going to tell me my children have to go. Sorry, not sorry. Okay. Hey, what's up, everybody? Come on in. Welcome to the chat. Please hit the like button, share the video. I appreciate every single one of y'all. Anyway, That was a tough scene. All I have to say is Chloe right now, she's giving the show what it needs. It's a nice, solid conflict. Every show needs a conflict. She has a nice, solid conflict where we can see if she's going to resolve it, how she got here in the first place. She said, listen, Jordan's not the first person I dated after my husband died, but he is the one that reminds me the most of my husband. He gives me the feelings my husband gave me, is what she said. Next up, we have Brina. Brina is having a family dinner with her biological mother and father. Her mother and father aren't married anymore. In fact, her father remarried. He's been married for 30 years now, but his wife was not at this dinner, just her mama and her daddy. And she said it's not very often that she has her parents, her birth parents, in the same room with each other. So this was a treat. Jordan stating that he wants to be the man of the house and wants her to kick out her son so that he could be there without interference from her son. That's what it feels like. But anyway, Brina asked an interesting question because she's having problems with her 15-year-old, right? He's probably getting mouthy and all the things. He has a very nice life because she lives a nice life, right? And she said that the father's too lenient. So right now, she wants some advice from her parents. And she said, what age would you recommend pushing your son or your children out there into the real world to live? And the dad had no problem, child. He was eating his steak and mashed potatoes, cutting and popping that shit in his mouth. He said 18. That's when they need to get the hell out of there. Okay. And William, Brina's husband, he's like 18, like they're still children at 18. He said, yes, 18. Get them out, get them grown. Brina says that her father looked like he was out in them streets when she was younger. So she said he lived a hard life. He was out in them streets. I would expect him to say that. She said, same for my mom, young mother. My mother got, married young, divorced early. She said, so I would expect that. She said, but I don't know if that is what is right, because they preached a whole lot of tough love over me. You can assume she got her ass whooped and all the things. And she said that wasn't right. I still think about that to this very day. It's affected my decision-making with my own children. And now she's feeling away after they tell her that. So she says to them, they were old school parents. Exactly. We're not going to pretend like this didn't happen. Okay. Or still doesn't happen. But there was an old school way of thinking that was practiced for centuries, for entire centuries. And now there's generations, underneath who said they won't do it that way, or people who are in therapy who said there's better ways to handle things. I get it. But she's sitting here with her parents right now. And she said, listen, this is a trigger for me. This is a trigger for me because I feel like you guys practiced that tough love shit on me. And it didn't work for me. In fact, it made my life tougher. Where I needed my parents, where I needed guidance, I was out there trying to figure it out for myself. And I don't think that was fair. And both of her parents looked at her and said, well, hell, they looked around the room. What did we do wrong? Are you paying attention? You're successful. So clearly we did something right. That's what Marie said in the last episode. Have you taken a look at how blessed you are? We did something right, pushing you out there, making you responsible, making you figure it out for yourself. You didn't have to lean on us. Clearly, you didn't lose in life. That's what her parents are telling her. And she don't like it. She's like, she got to pray. She has to pray. Like, are you paying attention? I was 19. I was 19 years old. My son, Pop, was 10 months when my mama kicked me out the house. I needed her. I was a young mother who didn't have all the answers. I needed her. And it took them a minute to get to a place where they could say, I hear you. We did the best that we could do. This is how we were raised. We were told to get out there and figure it out. You're going to bump your head. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to fall, get up, dust off those knees, dust off your elbows, and keep it pushing. That's life. And that's going to be life for your children, no matter what you give to them right now. They're still going to have to grow up and be a toddler in the world. Okay. And her mama said, I understand what you're saying. And I'll even say this. I didn't get everything right. I'll admit to that. I didn't get everything right. I wish I could have done things different. But there was never a time when you couldn't come back home. And Brina said, that's a damn lie, because you didn't even want to stay there. Okay? Or whatever was going on with that stepdaddy, she said, you didn't even want to be there. So I wasn't coming back to that shit. And both of them get a hearty chuckle. And her mother said, sometimes you got to endure some shit in order to get to where you want to be. And if that wasn't a life lesson, I don't know what was. Okay? Not everything is going to look cutesy. And I think that a lot of people think, I use the word cutesy. I'm going to get to that in a second. But I think a lot of times people think that every step and moment of someone's life is going to always be, a soft landing. And that's not true. That's not true for anyone. And it doesn't matter how much money you have in your pocket or how little money you have in your pocket. But I thought it was an interesting lesson. Clearly, Brina is still holding on to some shit that happened in her childhood and in her past. But I hope that she was able to get out a little bit in that scene. Clearly, what we see on television isn't enough. But I hope she was able to get out enough in that scene to start her healing process with her parents, because you're grown. You have 2 babies of your own now. And you don't know what life is going to bring you with your own children. You have no idea. You have no idea what God has in store for you with your own babies. You know what I mean? But anyway, after that, we are with Toria and Miss Sylvia. Welcome to the chat, everybody. Hit the like button, share the video, please, and thank you. I appreciate y'all. Let me see what y'all had to say up here. You guys are still talking about Jordan and Chloe. Sonia said that my 27-year-old daughter is living with me now. She's in school for her RN, already an LPN. Okay. Congratulations to your daughter. That is an amazing, the nursing school is hard. So that is amazing. And she's going to have a lot to carry on her shoulders when she becomes a nurse. So, she needs to run because Jordan is a control freak and he wants to make sure that there's no masculine energy getting in the way of his own. Okay. It's way too expensive to afford an apartment now starting out after college. A lot of people are saying that the cost of living is insane. All right. So anyway, now we are at the Feels and Heels event. Toria and Miss Sylvia are on deck. Y'all know they hosted this event. All of the ladies are in attendance. And the goal here is for the ladies to share something that's going on in their life that might be affecting their relationship with the group, or just discuss who you have a problem with in the group. That's it. Alania said, Alania's first on deck. Oh my goodness, Alania. Alania says, everybody knows that her and Josh are sleeping in separate rooms and that they are working on themselves first before they come together and work on the relationship. Now, while she's saying this, Chloe is literally rubbing her temple like, I have no idea what, I have no idea what Alania and Josh have going on, but she's going to just need to share it already, because clearly this shit is just hanging over all of our heads. We don't know what is going on. Miss Sylvia tells Alania, though, how do you know when you're going to be strong enough to come together? If you require this, how do you know what strong looks like for you or for Josh? This could go on for years, basically. Chloe says, we'll figure it out. And Josh does know what it is. Like, they've already set some sort of Parameters. At the end of the day, Sylvia says that's y'all relationship and nobody else can be in your marriage except for you. Elenia accepts that. That's what she needed to hear. But when she's in her confessional, the producers are pushing. They want an answer. They said, "What's wrong? What is going on with you and Josh? Why aren't you saying anything more?" And Elenia says that she's not talking because she's protecting Josh. I'm protecting Josh and what he did. And she said that he's hurt her a lot over the years. And she also said that he's cheated before. But she said that this actually might end their relationship for good. What he's done this time may end their relationship for good. And she's just trying to figure it out as she goes. But she's not ready to talk about it yet. What do y'all think it is? Because if she's already come out and told us that he's cheated before, what type of cheating did he do this time? Okay. He has a child outside the marriage. You think that may be the case, that he has a child outside the marriage. Oh, okay. Look, giving you the real tea, baby. Hey, what's up? She said he had a baby. He had a baby child. I didn't know. She was scaring the hell out of me. I'm like, will you please give us something? Welcome, giving you the real tea. Y'all follow him. He's hilarious. Okay. If you want to get your laugh on, follow him, child. He did something the other day where he pulled his knees up and he was holding on to one. I'm getting off track. Anyway, he's funny. You think Josh is gay? Josh is Martell and probably made a child outside. Okay, so listen, there's a lot, but she's making this so dark of a secret that I'm like, child, what is it? I'm nervous for you. I'm nervous to hear the secret at this point. But a lot of people in the chat are saying there is an outside baby. She doesn't have children with him, so that could be very, very painful. I don't think she has children with him. So maybe that's the secret. But right now, you have us, our minds are spinning. At least mine is. I was like, girl, just say it already. And that's how a lot of the group feels. Just say it already. But she said she's protecting Josh, so she's not ready. If there's a child, ain't enough counseling in the world. Okay. Anyway, Ro takes a turn at sharing with the group, and Ro said that sometimes it can be a little challenging raising a 7th grader child. And she says she doesn't know which way to turn. She comes home, she's talking to her baby. I think her name is Sophia. She'll talk to Sophia, and she says Sophia be hitting her with the left and the right. What's going on with these kids? Elena says she used to teach 7th graders, and she says 7th graders are mean. They are just mean when it gets to that stage. Anyway, Rose says, I don't want to parent my daughter the way my parents parented me. They believed in the tough love shit. They gave us spankings and all the things. She said that didn't keep me from running the streets and getting into stuff. So she said, I don't actually care. I don't care to do that to my child. But I don't know what I am supposed to do to correct her behavior. I just want to be positive. That's how she puts it. I don't think that she was given any real advice about that. He cheated with the baby. So more people are coming in and more people are coming in and saying that it's probably a baby on the outside. But yeah, she's not getting any real advice here. The counselor tells her to be positive while she's talking about how she was parented and the tough love part. Brina's on the other end of the table, like, you could tell that triggers her. Like, we have something in common, the tough love and the spankings and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? So then they passed basically the baton to Brina, who's like, oh shit, y'all, I'm not ready to talk about this. And she gets teary-eyed. She starts crying. Everybody starts fanning their hands over and said, take your time, girl. You got it. Take your time. And she shares with them the conversation she had with her parents. I just confronted my parents about this. I don't agree with this tough love shit myself. It didn't work for me. She said that she didn't feel like she had a safe place when she was a child. She didn't know where to go. And I do understand that, because sometimes when you do have parents who thinks that a spanking is the answer for everything, you don't know how to talk to them about what the hell's really going on in your life, because you don't know if that's going to get you a smack across the head or some shit, right? So she said, I didn't have a safe place, and I ended up bringing a child into the world, and I couldn't rely on my own mama to help me be a mama. So she shares that with them, and while she's sharing it, that triggers Chloe, who starts crying, talking about, when you said the safe space thing, I'm sorry, when you said that your parents didn't give you a safe space, it made me think about my son. And she starts talking about how she starts talking about how Nico, she might have heard him say that Nico might not have a safe space with her. She said when she was growing up, she was taught getting the money is how you take care of your children. But she said at the end of the day, I haven't asked him any goddamn questions. I yell at him. I tell him to go get a job. I tell him what to do, but I'm not taking the time out to give him the safe space to express himself about where he is in these moments, right? So we heard what he had to say, and even though he did come across a little disrespectful, but she's realizing, hell, I think he's grown. So I'm telling him to just get out. I don't have to worry about your feelings anymore. All I do is go to work. I care about what the girls think, but not what he thinks. And I'm being a bad mother. Now I realize what the problem is. And when she says that, all the girls, they comfort her and say, you can't put that on your back. Take that off. You're a good mama. Sometimes shit happens. We all make mistakes. But that was a really good moment. That was a really good moment for the group to recognize everybody wants to do it the right way, but you're going to fuck something up. It is what it is. When your kids get older and they have kids of their own, they're going to recognize, I know that my mama and my daddy did the best that they could do. And really, at some point, that baton has been passed and you got to start carrying it. You know what I'm saying? Nico has to start carrying it too. That doesn't mean that you don't love your family, you don't love your parents just because someone yells at you or you feel like you didn't get your way. That's not what it is. And it's never been that, ever. And I hate that sometimes social media and, maybe even some YouTubers always make it seem like, oh, they ain't gonna love your kids and the kids ain't gonna love you if this happens. That's not how love works. Never has, never will. Okay. Anyway, let's see. Still today, if I try to have a hard conversation with my mom, that she gets upset and says that you're being disrespectful. There are some moms who feel that way. There are. That is an old school way. Like that was a way. But listen, you have to self-correct, and you also have to recognize seeing it my way, Lisa. You also have to recognize you might not be able to have that hard conversation, but you're not going to pass that style of parenting down to your own children. But it doesn't mean that you don't love your mama and that she doesn't love you. In my opinion, there appeared to be tension between Elena and Muneera. We're going to get to it. We're going to get to that. You have to be stern, but you also have to provide a safe space where your kids can come to you and talk about things that they're feeling. This new generation doesn't have that mental headspace. All right. Sharice said, you're the parent, not their little friend. Okay. You got to tell them that early. You're the parent, not their little friend. But he's a grown man now. Chloe's son is an adult. So she does have to open the pathway for communication, which it sounded like she was trying to do. But when he was getting a little upset, she decided to meet him where he was at. You know what I'm saying? Maybe next time she'll talk to him, she'll just say, Jordan, I'm not going to let you get my blood pressure up. You know what I'm saying? I need you to tell me what it is. At one point, she did say, okay, I did everything wrong. But you did some wrong shit too, right? Anyway, now that's when we talked about Chloe. Now we're going to talk about Toria. Toria takes a turn. Toria says, listen, I'm still grieving. I'm still grieving my father. He was my best friend. He was my mentor. He was the one I called to joke about, talk about my day. He was everything to me. And I am still going through a lot of heartbreak and loss and, first time experiences with things. So I don't always realize that the way I deal with things or deal with the loss of my father, it might come across wrong. How I engage or communicate to my friends might come across a little wrong. And she's blaming it on the grief of her father, her interaction with Muneera on the grief of her father. Muneera says, listen, I honestly tried to call you and squash this beef before you even brought it to the table. In fact, when Muneera's walking in the door, she said, I hope this shit isn't about me. I hope you're not having this feels and heals day with the therapist for me, because I tried to talk to you, girl, and say, we need to make this go away. Okay. This shouldn't last another episode. That's what I said last week. And here it is. Okay. But she said, well, Muneera, I wrote a letter and I want you to read it. And she was like, girl, you know what I'm saying? Like, I guess, I don't know. Anyway, that's when Elania chimes in. She interrupts this conversation and she says, well, girl, you do have a problem with the word cutesy, okay? Because it all started because Toria called Muneera cutesy. Elena said, I had the same talk with you where I called you cutesy and you bit my damn head off. And I said, by the time that was over, I said, I'll never call her cutesy or anything else ever again. That's what Elenia said. Muneera looks at her and said, okay, well, it doesn't have anything to do with the word cutesy. Elena says, yes, it does. Muneera says, okay, because she's pissed. Like, this is between me and Toria. She said, okay, I'm going to give it to you. Then it was a problem. Cutesy was a problem with you, but not with her. Okay. This is something completely different. It had nothing to do with the word cutesy. It was the fact that she kept saying things about me looking young or my stature or whatever. And I did not like that. She continued to come after me and I didn't appreciate that. Elena says, no, you don't like the word cutesy. And furthermore, you don't look that damn young. Okay, so let's bring that home. You're a woman in your 40s and you look like you're in your 40s to me. Now, Muneera is fit to be tied. And she's really trying to, like not go off. Because she's like, bitch, I'm trying to put to bed a problem that I have with Toria, that Toria and I have. Why are you introducing this new shit? I don't even care. We didn't see Elena call Muneera cutesy. We don't know when this happened, but Muneera's like, bitch, that was 7 years ago. And I don't even care. Like, what are you doing right now? Anyway, Muneera says that pretty much in her confessional. She said, how old is Josh, child? How old is Josh? Let's worry about that. Or how old is that child that Josh has out of wedlock? Muneera had to deal with that her whole life due to her looking young. It's a compliment the first time, but you keep saying it and being funny, then yes, it's going to get on your nerves. Well, I think that she's put everybody in that group in their place. They should know not to say it. Yeah, we all heard her explain it. Muneera has a very interesting life. This is what I'll say about Muneera. Does she look, she's a small woman. Yes. I don't necessarily think that she looks like a child personally. She looks like a mature woman. She's just short. But I also think that she chose a really tough career as an electrical engineer where she was around a lot of big men who were climbing up them poles. She said she was supervising them, doing all kinds of shit. And she had to come in and lay down the law. Okay. Sometimes I'm sure she had to be the iron fist. And she even said after a while, the shit was burning me out. I was being burned out, just the job alone. So she chose to do content creation. But that being the case, I feel like she should have more weaponry in her arsenal when it comes to the ladies at this table. And she shouldn't be that, I don't know, she shouldn't let them unnerve her like that, especially since she's already, in the worst way that she could deal with it, she's already dealt with it, is what I think. But I get it. At the end of the day, Sylvia says, listen, I already talked to Tori about this. Muneera has her triggers. Toria also has her triggers, but she didn't mean anything by it. Okay. Hopefully, y'all can both recognize each other and move on. Toria ends up reading her letter to her, trying to explain why she said it, apologize, tell her that she understood her situation. Said, listen, we're both from the best sorority in the world. So we're going to practice those principles. We're sisters. Okay. And they squashed it. Elena really didn't have to jump in that at all, but she did. But it also lets me know, I'm actually happy that Elena jumped in it, because it lets us know that Elena could fight back. You know what I'm saying? She can get smart. She can get nippy with it. All the things. So this soft spot that she has with Josh right now, I'm going to need to see the fight side of Elena when it comes to Josh. Because in the beginning, I thought that Elena was a pushover. She's not. She's not at all, in my opinion. But anyway, moving on to the next scene. Did I get everybody? Yes, I got everybody. So we got the last scene. The last scene, Chloe hosts a get together for the single ladies. Okay. And she says she's going to include Elenia in this invite because she's kind of single. She said, Elenia is kind of single. You're invited too. Okay. Muneera and Brina, they were at home with the men, with their man. Okay. So all the ladies come. They look cute. They had their night out. Now, when Ro walked in, I don't know if anybody paid attention, but there was a man at the bar who could not take his eyes off of Ro. His eyes followed her all the way to her seat, child. And then he still had to turn around so he can get a good look. But he comes in, or she comes in. I think Toria was there already. Then Elena walks in. She looks cute. She's happy to be there, a part of the single lady crew. Then Chloe comes. Okay. I think it was just the four of them. Chloe comes. And they're all, chit-chatting a little bit. Chloe says, listen, I invited a special guest. And all the ladies are like, why? Okay. Look, we just want to hang out with each other. Rose said, I don't like special guests. I don't like new friends. I want to be able to talk freely, not worried about what this person might think of me or, tiptoeing around feelings. This isn't, I don't know. I'm not cool with this special guest. And then they find out who the special guest is. It's Shaniqua. Shaniqua from last week. I think Shaniqua is a transgender woman. If I'm mistaken, put it in the chat. I don't know if she said she was or not, but she presents as such to me. Apologies, child, if that's not true. But Shaniqua comes in, and you can tell that everybody's like, of all the special guests, bitch, why this one? They're not happy. Nobody at the table is happy. Okay, so did you say you were correct because of that? Okay, someone said, I peeped that. I peeped that. But yes, that's how she presents. Anyway, when Rose sees her, because she already said she didn't want no extra friends at the table, but when she sees it, she's like, bitch, this is the second time we done got a pop-up from Shaniqua. Why is she always where I'm at? Okay. Yeah, it was a hilarious scene. This shit was funny. She was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be staying much longer. I might get that one drink in. Y'all know how we do. You get to the party, you like, I like you. I don't like you. Okay. And then you remember you left the iron on or some shit. You got a headache. You gotta go. But Rose giving that vibe. Rose like, child. And now she's saying it out loud. This is your second time popping up. on our friend group. What is this about? Chloe tries to check and said, this ain't a pop-up. This ain't a pop-up. She's my surprise guest. I invited her. That's when Elena chimes in and said, child, a surprise usually is accepting by all. Like, we all like the surprise. I don't like this bitch either. I don't know why she's here. I'm not sure. Okay. So now after everybody does it, and when Elena jumps in and said, I don't like her. I don't know. This isn't a surprise for us. Why is she here? Toria gives the heartiest laugh that her entire head popped back. Like, whoa, like she's laughing that hard. So clearly Shaniqua does not feel welcome. And Chloe is trying her best. She was like, wait a minute now, y'all. Come on. Come on. In Chloe's confessional, she said, I talked to her a few times. She's a friend of mine. I like her. She's fun. And sometimes I have to bring fun energy to this friend group because they aren't always fun. Anyway, it's not going to get any funner than that. Toria actually ends up taking the lead. Hey, welcome to the chat. Chloe ends up taking Toria ends up taking the lead because y'all said that Toria might have a little bit of pow energy where you might push a little bit, right? But Toria said, listen, the last time I spoke to you or we had any interaction was what? 10 years ago? 10 years ago through a text or some shit. So since you're here and you've popped up and everything, why don't you catch us up on where you've been over the last 10 years? This is when Chloe says, oh, my bad. I don't know if I stepped on your toes. You were the connect. You were the one who knew her first. Because Chloe's admitting she doesn't know her that well. You were the one who knew her first from 10 years ago. So yeah, why don't you head off the introductions? Now, Shaniqua loses her ever-loving mind and says, before we get into that, I just want to make sure I understand. Are you trying to say you don't know me? And Toria was like, well, Toria's like, where's this energy coming from? And she goes, well, you said you knew me from 10 years ago. And at this point, it doesn't matter if it was 100 years ago, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, we still know each other, correct? Now back to Ro. Ro says, bitch, you're doing too much. 10 years ago means she doesn't know you. What are you talking about? Okay, where's all this energy coming from? Help me understand you. Anyway, from that point, Shaniqua gets even louder and she's upset because now she sees pretty much everybody at the table is against her. And she says, listen, I don't understand what you're doing right now. This is giving character assassination. She's accusing Toria of assassinating her character. She said, I don't like this vibe. You know me. You know me. And then she pulls out a bunch of printed receipts that everybody at the table said was AOL from back in the day when we had AOL, okay? AOL printouts. And she starts posting it. What does this say? And what does this say? This is proof that you know me. This is proof that we know each other. Toria said, the date says 2014. 2014. That's not 10 years ago, child. That's 11. What is the problem? What did I say wrong? And she's like, this girl is kooky. Now Chloe goes into confessional and she admits that she's the one who got the shit started. She said, now I did tell Shaniqua that Chloe said she didn't know her, but I didn't ask her to do all this. So everybody at the table at this point is insinuating that Shaniqua might not be screwed on too tight, that she's a little cuckoo. Okay, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And Toria, or excuse me, Ro is the one who's like the most like, not only are you doing too much with those stupid ass receipts, but you shouldn't be here. No way. Let's start there. And that is where it pretty much ends because Shaniqua says, wait a minute, bitch. And Chloe said, bitch, I know you didn't call me out my name with that Timu ass wig on. And we'll have to see what happens after that. But this might be Shaniqua's last time on the show. If that's what it looks like. Shaniqua was given trying too hard last episode, and she tried way too hard in this episode. I'm not sure why she gave us all that energy. I'm not. The pop-up guest came with an attitude and supposed receipts. Those weren't receipts. I don't know what the shit they were, but they weren't receipts. Good gravy. Yeah, that was it. That was all. That's the show. Now, I actually liked this episode. I said that I was hoping that it would, pep up a little bit. And it seemed to. They're trying to make her a friend of the show. Jeez Louise. They don't seem like they have anything in common. I would like to see the first set of girls. I'm okay with the first set of girls. That's it. I don't need new girls. Not yet. We need to know what's going on with Elena before we start bringing in new company. But outside of that, this was a good episode. I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. I liked everybody. I thought everybody held their own weight. You know what I'm saying? I like that they brought in Miss Sylvia, even if it was just for a moment. At first, I was like, is Toria doing too much bringing Sylvia in to talk to the ladies? But I think that all the ladies need to start talking to each other about their problems. I think that when Ro went to see her counselor, that's what her counselor advised her to do. And when they were able to sit at the table and do it with each other in a safe place, I thought that was cool. I'm going to say Elena shocked me. She did shock me just a little bit when she went back and forth with Muneera, because you want to see where everybody's at, right? You want to see what their energy level is. How petty can they be? She's giving me extra petty. She's giving extra petty. Okay. And I'm okay with that. But if I know that's the energy she can give to the girls, she can definitely give it to Josh. I just want to see what this is. She's no friend. Friend circle needs to be a safe place. I agree. So we'll see what happens with them next week. Liked Brina. Thank you, Brina, for bringing your story to the table. Teenage motherhood. That's all good, right? How to co-parent with your baby daddy. That's all good. Is there anybody that I'm leaving out? I'm still waiting to see just a little more from Muneera. That's it. I understand the stature thing, but I also think that she's a very strong woman. I'm not going to take that off her plate. I know based on the job that she did, she is a very strong woman. And I also know that her mama's a strong woman. And her mama doesn't play, okay? Bringing her to have dinner when her mama said, bitch, you didn't have to bring me here for this. You didn't have to bring me here for this. Your husband is your husband, and I've done enough in life. I've seen enough to not let this little BS bother me. And she told her that when she met her, when they went and had a little walk, she said that to her. She's like, girl, have you any idea the shit I've been through? Do you really think that your husband scares me? He doesn't. I liked it. I liked that scene. My mama was the same way. Okay. Very, very strong woman. Walked in a room. You knew she was there, period. Would pick up, and she was little. People think I'm skinny. My mom was skinny. She was, probably like 5'6", maybe. But she was the one who was picking up a, 10-pound bag of dog food and throwing it over her shoulder and walking it to the, conveyor belt. Like, I don't need no help. You know what I'm saying? Elena needs to be petty with Josh. And I said 10 pounds, he'll 20 pounds. We need more from Muneera. So we'll see what happens. So far, so good, though. That's it. That's all. I appreciate every single one of y'all for coming over and hanging out with me today. Please hit the like button, share the video, okay? Follow me on all my platforms at DYANAROZAY. Make sure y'all watch this show. Spread the word by hitting that share button. That way, others can watch the show too, right? And it can stay on the air. We need a second season. We need a second season. I really like that one show with the real estate that was also set in Houston. And I think it's unfortunate that we haven't gotten a second season yet. It was an excellent show. But anyway, talk to me in the comments. Let me know what y'all think, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you to my moderators. Bye-bye.